Hello everybody, my name is Tanner Kyler, and today I am going to show you how to heat stratify then cold stratify your sumac. So right here I have a bunch of winged sumac seeds right here. They're actually edible, so you can make teas out of them and such. They have a strong citrus flavor to them. And one of the things that I've tried to do in the past, and some of you might have already tried this, is to grow them from seed. And you can put the seed out over and over and over again, and it won't grow up. This is because they need some kind of hard stratification. So today I'm going to use boiling water to do so, but in the wild they would use stuff like birds. So as birds eat the seeds, they digest them, the digestive enzymes, the stomach acid of the bird helps break down that hard seed coat. So whenever it poops it out, it also has a little bit of fertilizer on it with the poop. It allows it to germinate easier. So that's why you'll see them growing along fence lines and ditches and stuff all over the place. And they can reproduce without the need of a stratification, but they do much better if you do so. So right here I have a boiling pot of water. It's not quite boiling yet, so we're gonna wait a few minutes. But these seeds, I don't think they 100% need a cold stratification. That's definitely gonna help bump up your germination rate. So if you get them a heat stratification, you could also probably like rub them with sandpaper or whatever, but I found this method to be much more efficient, much quicker. You simply put them in the boiling water and then spread them out. You need to spread them out in the, right now it's November, so that's when I'm gonna spread it. So they have all winter to get that cold stratification. They need freeze, thaw, freeze, thaw, freeze, thaw, freeze, thaw, and then a slow warm up in the spring. As the days get longer, they'll wake up, start sprouting out of the ground. A lot of them have been sprayed off the property here. So we used to have hundreds and hundreds of these sumac bushes all over the place, and they form clones of themselves. So the first tree will grow up, they'll send out a runner on the root system, a new one will pop up, a new one will pop up, and they'll form groves of themselves. I'll put a photo of that on here. I should have some photos of those from the past. So now the water is coming to a rolling boil. So once it gets to the rolling boil, I'm gonna go ahead and just start throwing them in here. We're just gonna throw these whole seed heads in there. Each seed head has a few hundred seeds on it, and you don't need them all to grow unless you're trying to, grow them out to sell them or something. But I'm just gonna spread mine out into the wild. I might put some of them in containers, but I already have some growing in containers at home, so I don't really need to do that. So we have quite a few here. One second. So now I have probably a few thousand seeds here, and they are all in the boiling water, and I'm gonna take a spoon here, just a normal spoon, and push them down so I can get them all submerged in the water here. Now they don't need long in this, so basically what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna push them down in this, make sure not all of them are gonna get in there, that's fine. We don't need them all to. And like I said, you can clean these seeds off, make a tea out of them. The tea tastes pretty pleasant. I believe it has vitamin C in it. Makes a strawberry lemonade kind of flavored drink or tea. So excellent native thing to use. All right, now we got a boil going on. We're just gonna go ahead and turn that off, leave it on the stove top, and let it simmer back down to a cool state. We need to make sure that it's been sitting in here long enough to get some kind of heat stratification. I'm trying to push them down underneath so at least they get a few seconds of that boiling water, and they are expanding. So they're gonna expand as they go along, and these seeds are gonna crack open. So now we got a lot here. Probably don't need to keep them in here this long. So I'm just gonna push them down like this. The boil should slow down here. Now that that's done, we're just gonna leave them sit here for around, oh, here's one I missed. We're gonna let them sit here for, I don't know, around 20 minutes, 30 minutes, and let this cool off. I might wait until they completely cool off before I take them off the stove here. So it's been about 10 minutes now, and I'm just stirring the pot, trying to turn them over so some of the ones that are on the surface get turned over and get more time in the hot water. And this should take some time, but once this is all done, we'll drain it, take them outside to spread. All right, so I got these out. They've been sitting overnight, so it's been about 24 hours since I boiled them, so they've had plenty of time to soak and to allow that enamel to break down more. They get real soggy. It's fine that not all of them are here. I'm gonna collect some and keep some of them to grow in containers, but the majority of them I'm gonna spread into the wild and hope they pop up throughout this restoration area. All right, since a lot of these are gonna wash out, I'm gonna go ahead and drain it out here in the restoration area. Also, all those tannins are gonna be good for the soil. Let all that run out. You can see all that, those tannins, and it makes a nice looking tea here. Definitely could make this into a tea. And now that we have our soggy, boiled sumac here, I'm just gonna break these seed pods off, walk around out here and spread them into the wild.
And they're falling off pretty easy there. And you can go ahead and pick them off here and just toss them around and hope they get into the soil. We can also go and bury them. Come right over here. And like bury them in the soil here. So you grab a couple, just shove them down in this hole. Now remember, these will form colonies, so one seed will form a whole colony in 20 or 30 years. It'll be a large grove of trees. They get about 20 feet tall to 30 feet tall. Individual trees themselves aren't very wide. They're very stemmy and tall, and then they form a grove of themselves that can become very wide. I mean, I've seen them like a quarter mile long, these individual groves. So I'm just gonna come around throughout all of this area here and just spread it into the wild. And then about a quarter of what we boiled, I'm gonna put into pots and put them in milk jugs to cold stratify throughout the winter time. So in the spring they'll wake up, I can put them into pots, I can get them into individual pots because they're hard to dig up out of the ground, and then use those to sell or to plant out in other restoration areas. So you just come along and just squeeze these. Your hands are gonna get kind of messy, but it's okay. They're not toxic, so it's okay to get your hands messy. Just sprinkle them around where they'll pop up, and if you even want to, you can just break pieces off and just toss them and hope that they come up. You know, just rub it around your hands. That'll also kind of expose them out of their seed coats and give them a toss. But this whole area behind me, I'm going to seed it with, all the way down there in those big bottoms behind us, and hope a few of them come up. But out of the thousands of seeds we're spreading, I only am thinking probably a few dozen will actually grow up and mature. And then as we burn this, it'll keep them from getting too grown up where they'll kill all the prairie grasses. Sumac are extremely important for our ecosystem, huge pollinator source. They give a lot of shelter for birds like quail and meadowlark, and also give areas for animals to bed down in. They block wind, they help slow soil erosion. Very excellent, beautiful grove forming plant that's native to Oklahoma. But that's about it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you learned something. Please leave a comment if you have any questions or concerns about this video that I didn't answer, and have a great rest of your day.